This is 3 News Now, your daily update on everything Northeast Ohio with Stephanie Haney.
Hello everyone, welcome back to 3 News Now on this Tuesday, August 23rd. I'm Stephanie Haney here with your top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Thank you for being here with me for the stories that matter most to you here in Northeast Ohio. These are the stories that you are clicking on, reading, and sharing from our website and from our app. And we start with national news that impacts everyone here in the country. We have now learned that the government has recovered more than 300 documents marked classified from Mar-a-Lago since former President Donald Trump left office. That includes 150 that were retrieved by the National Archives in January. That retrieval is a number that helped trigger a criminal investigation. Now, this is all according to reporting from the New York Times. So lawyers for Trump have asked a federal judge, this was yesterday, to stop the FBI review of these documents recovered from his Florida home earlier this month. What he's asking for is for something called a neutral special master to be appointed to inspect the records. The request was included in a federal lawsuit which was filed by Trump's legal team about 2 weeks after the search. The lawsuit attacks the FBI investigation, gives us a peek into arguments that the lawyers are expected to make as this investigation from the FBI continues. So the lawsuit makes an attempt at casting the August 8th search as something that was unwarranted and overly broad, according to Trump's team. Now, the FBI said it recovered 11 sets of classified documents from Mar-a-Lago. Now, Trump's team is calling this a shockingly aggressive move, saying that Trump is entitled to a more detailed description of the records seized from the home, and argues that the FBI and the Justice Department has long treated him, quote, unfairly. In a separate statement, Trump said this: all documents have been previously declassified. However, he has not provided any evidence to support that claim and described the records as being illegally seized from his home. Again, not provided any evidence to support that claim. Now, the Justice Department responded very succinctly. They put out a statement that was 3 sentences long, saying that the search had been authorized by a federal judge after the FBI had presented probable cause that a crime had been committed. This is a developing story, obviously, and we'll continue to bring you more updates as they become available. Now, to some legal news involving a former Cleveland baseball player, Kenny Lofton. He is being sued and accused of, among other things, of sending sexual pictures to employees. So according to TMZ, the lawsuit was filed by Braden Toney. He says he was hired by Lofton's companies, Center Block Asset Management and Proxime Corporation. This was in December of 2021, so less than a year ago. He says he was promised an annual salary of $85,000, but he was never paid for his work. So you may be wondering, what does this have to do with this lawsuit alleging this sending of these sexual pictures? Well, the person who's filed the lawsuit alleges that a female employee who had been hired to monitor Lofton's Instagram account told him that he had been sending photos of his private sexual parts to multiple women through private messages on the Instagram app. Toney says that he made the company's in-house attorney aware of what Lofton was allegedly doing and was fired within 2 hours of making that complaint. So this lawsuit, which alleges he was fired, here's where we get to the point of where Toney becomes involved. It alleges he was fired in retaliation for reporting Lofton's behavior and also complaining about wage and hours violations. So the lawsuit, it names Lofton, the 55-year-old's companies, and others in the organizations. He's seeking damages in the lawsuit. Here's a statement from Toney's attorney, Ronald Zambrano. This is what he told TMZ. Lofton and his executive team thought they could fire our client for objecting to obvious sexual misconduct and even thought they could get away with not paying him for his work. That speaks to the arrogance and dysfunction at play every day at Centerblock and Proxime. Have not yet seen a statement from Lofton or any kind of a response from his legal team, and if so, we will be sure to bring that to you. Now, here in Ohio, here's something that we need to be paying attention to, because the people who are in charge of feeding the people in our state that are in need of our help are saying they are in need of help. The executive director of the Ohio Association of Food Banks, Lisa Hamler-Fugit, she is sort of sounding the alarm here. She says that things are going to get a lot darker and more bleak before they get a lot better, and they are desperately worried about food right now. They said they're worried for the first time that they won't have enough food for everyone who needs it, particularly heading into the winter months when need is at an increase here typically, and that need is currently higher than it has been in the past. Now, this is being attributed to global supply chain problems, labor shortages, the pandemic, climate change, and other things all combining to make this happen. So what the executive director is saying is that they're down about a sixth, and it's continuing to decline. This is referring to food supplies, particularly from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. She also said there are high prices at the grocery store, which is causing need to spike, and also increased causes for housing and utilities and healthcare. So she said right now, this means Ohio's food banks, here's a quote from her, the food is going out a hell of a lot faster than it's coming in. Also adding to the problem are logistical bottlenecks. So food that used to come in 2 or 3 weeks is now taking 2 to 3 months to arrive. So you can understand why that would present a huge problem coming up on winter. So the food banks, what they need is they need money now if they're going to have adequate supplies for winter when utility costs are only going to get higher and squeeze on people. So what is the Ohio food bank system doing right now to prepare for this? Well, many of them are rationing food. They're cutting a 5 to 7 day allotment of food by 2 days, typically. Another thing they're doing, they're asking for support from the state. They continue to appeal to Governor Mike DeWine for $50 million in emergency funding. That's what they're looking for. Right now, the state of Ohio is sitting on an unprecedented balance of $7.4 billion. Billion with a B. Now, in June, Governor DeWine's spokesperson, Dan Tierney, said that the government prefers to spend American Rescue Plan Act funds, which makes up $1.3 billion of that additional money in the balance, on capital projects because it is non-recurring income. Now, if you ask the executive director of the Ohio Association of Food Banks, she says that food is the most basic capital project. So if you are someone who typically supports the food banks or someone who's considering it, what they are saying is now is the time, do not wait. Another thing that we are seeing that is happening now more so than it has in the past is an increase in attention to mental health in our schools. And recently, President Joe Biden's administration approved mental health funding for the entire country's K through 12 school systems. One of the places where we're seeing an increase in mental health services being provided is Bedford City Schools. And like many districts, last year, Bedford City Schools saw an increase in violence. Police were called in to respond to fights, and there were assaults on staff. Our 3 News team talked with sophomore and football player Randall Rosario, who said that he witnessed more stress and anxiety in school halls after that year of remote learning and really wants to help make things better. So one thing that's being instituted there is a peer-to-peer system. But they've also expanded professional mental health services this year. They've added new social, emotional learning interventionists to help the students cope. And one group that they're working with is called Faith Gordon. So Faith Gordon supervises social workers, therapists, and a new group of social, emotional learning interventionists who work in the classroom. And they help the students, yes, but also the teachers, providing support for teachers, because let's not forget, our teachers are not mental health professionals. We can't be relying on our teachers to provide these services for our young people. We need the trained professionals. So that's something that they're doing at Bedford City Schools. And for more intensive care, the district is partnering with a group called Beach Brook Behavioral Health Center. Here are some statistics to let you know, to sort of give you a landscape of how this is looking across the country. The National Center for Education Statistics reported that during the 2019 to 2020 school year, about 55% of the nation's public schools provided mental health assessments. That number is growing right now since the pandemic really shined a light on the need for this kind of thing. 6 out of 10 schools, 4 out of 5 schools, so about 80% of schools where more than 75% of students are minorities are more likely to offer mental health, and Bedford falls into that category. The student population at Bedford City Schools is about 82% African American. So kudos to you, Bedford City Schools, providing those mental health services for those students. Hopefully that's something we see many schools following in the footsteps of around here, particularly here in Northeast Ohio. Now, if you drive a Hyundai or a Kia, or you're thinking about buying one, this is information that you need to know, because those 2 vehicle providers are telling owners of some of their large SUVs, park them outdoors away from buildings, because there have been a series of fires involving trailer hitch wiring. So they're recalling more than 281,000 vehicles in the U.S. because of that problem. They don't know how to fix it yet. They reported 25 fires or melting incidents in the U.S. and Canada, but no crashes or injuries so far. So the recall covers more than 245,000 Hyundai Palisades and over 36,000 Kia Tellurides. This is the 2020 through 2022 models. Also, by the way, dealers from both automakers are not selling these affected SUVs until repairs are made. Now let's turn to some positive news for the city of Akron. If you're familiar with the word Dora, might not be because you have a child who likes Dora the Explorer, but Dora stands for Designated Outdoor Refreshment Area. So this is something different that adults are paying attention to. And this is where there's a designated area in a city, usually kind of in the hub of the city, where you're able to walk around from business to business with an adult alcoholic beverage if you should so choose. So one of these Dora's was established in Akron in 2020, but now that's getting bigger. It's expanding. Today, Akron Mayor Dan Hortigan said that the city's application to expand the Dora area has officially been approved by the state, and it is effective right away. It is now in place. So this is the downtown Akron area. Now it's about 145 acres. It runs from Arche Brewing, which is at 540 South Main Street, to Lock 15 Brewing at 21 West North Street. So how appropriate that the Dora area runs from one brewery to another brewery. There are about 40 businesses in between that area too. So great timing because there's a big event happening this weekend in Akron. Akron's Pride Festival is happening on Saturday, August 27th. So people within that space will be able to grab a drink at one spot, walk with it, peruse the downtown area, enjoy all of the outdoor activities, and have those alcoholic adult beverages with them in that 145-acre space. You know, I've been in some places that have these Dora locations, and they are quite lovely. Toledo has a nice one. They do a good job with that there. Now, speaking of the parents, again, let's talk about something else that's coming here to Cleveland. People are very excited about this. It's called Bluey's Big Play, and they are bringing a live stage performance from the popular Bluey TV show here to Cleveland next summer. So you will have to wait a little less than a year for it, but it is coming very soon. We know the dates are set for August 5th and 6th. So if you have someone in your family who is a fan of the Bluey TV show, put it on your calendar now, August 5th and 6th. That's when the show is coming to Cleveland. It'll be at the KeyBank State Theater that's in Playhouse Square. Now you're gonna have to set yourself some reminders, and of course we'll keep you updated as well because the tickets are not on sale yet, and we don't yet know the prices, but what we do know is this is the only stop in Ohio that is on the books for Bluey's Big Play so far. So if the Bluey TV show is on repeat in your house, you're going to want to be in Cleveland on August 5th and 6th. And something else great is coming to Lakewood this week, tomorrow. Lakewood is one of 12 cities across the entire country to land a nationwide tour of something called the Bros Mobile. So let me tell you about Bros. Bros is an upcoming rom-com, and it's kind of making headway, getting attention because it comes from Universal Pictures, and it has an entirely LGBTQ plus principal cast. So everyone in the main cast is a member of the LGBTQ plus community. This is a rom-com. It comes from the comedy mind of Billy Eichner and from the producers of Trainwreck and Bridesmaids, two classics. And the Bros Mobile is coming to Lakewood tomorrow on Wednesday from 6 p.m. to midnight. So what this is it's a mobile pop-up theater, and it has 44 seats in it, and you'll get to see a sneak peek of elements of the movie to kind of get you excited about it and see what's coming. So this is not just the stuff that's in the trailer. This is never before seen footage. It's in the Bros Mobile. And also they had some really exciting things to say about Studio West 117. This is the LGBTQ plus neighborhood initiative that's in that area, in the sort of Cleveland, Lakewood area there. So the group responsible for it called the initiative a first of its kind neighborhood created for and by the LGBTQ plus community of Greater Cleveland. And they are pioneers on the forefront of major advancements in the community. So they say the Bros Mobile appeals beyond LGBTQ plus to allies and movie fans alike. So come out for a sneak peek of the movie, enjoy a night of laughs, giveaways, and more. So if you're wondering where this is, mark it on your calendar tomorrow from 6 p.m. to midnight, Wednesday, August 24th. It'll be at the corner of Hurd, H-I-R-D, and Detroit Avenues. That's across from the Symposium nightclub. And this is right in the heart of this up-and-coming Studio West 117 initiative, which is going to be a great, great space. I want to let you know about something else that you can see right now. If you're a fan of the Prayers from Maria, Maria's Field of Hope, this is in Avon. It's sunflowers. They bloom, and it is for the foundation Prayers from Maria. This is all in honor of Maria McNamara, who passed away in 2007 from cancer. She was just 7 years old. So there's this nonprofit organization that funds global research, and it's this beautiful sunflower field in Avon, except it's not blooming yet. But there is a secondary Prayers from Maria, Maria's Field of Hope, that is blooming at Cedar Point right now, and it is absolutely beautiful. I actually just saw it just last week. So the field is open from sunrise to sunset. There's an on-site shop that's open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m., and there's no charge to see the field. So admission is free, but they do accept donations, and they say every dollar that is donated brings one step closer to finding a cure for cancer. So if you want to check that out, that is near Cedar Point. You can also get a Cedar Point trip in before the weather turns. Highly recommend it, especially on a weekday. When we went to Cedar Point, we walked on almost every ride. The only ride that we had to wait for was the Millennium Force, and it was a lovely day, so I highly recommend it, and the sunflowers, absolutely beautiful. One more thing to tell you about before we go that was also absolutely beautiful. We had a really special moment here at the WKYC studios yesterday. It was last year when WKY Studios marketing team created this beautiful promotional campaign, and it was called the Dare to Dream campaign. So it aired during the Olympics. It was something that captured everyone's hearts. So what it featured was our anchor, Russ Mitchell, and a young man named Peyton, who played a young Russ Mitchell. I believe he played him at the age of 9 years old, if I'm not mistaken, and it showed his aspiring dreams to be in the field of journalism. And then we see, of course, present day Russ Mitchell doing what he does every day, bringing you the news, the lights coming up, and him aspiring to, at a young age, and then living that dream. Well, the spot won an Emmy. And so Peyton, young Peyton, the 9-year-old actor, of course, needed to get his Emmy. So yesterday at WKYC, Russ Mitchell presented Peyton with his Emmy, and it was a beautiful moment. We have it for you to check out on WKYC.com. I had the opportunity to say hello to young Mr. Peyton. He was quite lovely. I think he was having a nice time while he was here at WKYC, and maybe, if I'm not wrong, maybe might be bit by the acting bug or maybe the journalism bug, either one. But we had a whole red carpet situation for him here, and it was really a cool, special moment. So I encourage you to head to WKYC.com, check that out. And you can also watch that promotional campaign, which is a little bit of a tearjerker. All right, that's it for your 3 News Now update today for Tuesday, August 23rd. I'll see you back here tomorrow with more 3 News Now.
Thanks for listening to 3 News Now with Stephanie Haney from WKYC Studios. Subscribe now so you never miss an update, and find more on everything you heard here on WKYC.com and in the WKYC app.